waiting for US elections a lot. This video is hard. This video is hard. I didn't expect it. I left Ukraine over a month ago. And I didn't know back then, should I stay or should I leave? Because continuing living life in Ukraine became more and more difficult. But I didn't know how to live abroad either. So today I want to do a life update video for you to better understand what is the future of this channel, what is my path, and also today I want to talk about the past, about the war and about Ukraine, of course. So in this video I'm gonna explain how is the situation right now in Ukraine in terms of war and why I cannot come back to Ukraine even though I miss it so much. So let's get into it. I spent 6 months in Ukraine and of course I have a line of insights for you from the person who actually lived there in the wartime, and it sounds scary and it's something I will tell my grandkids and kids obviously, because it's hard to imagine living in a country which is at war at this particular moment. So before coming to Ukraine, I thought that you feel war only in certain parts of the country, only in the east, only in some regions. And I also got a lot of comments about like war is not like in all of Ukraine, it's not in the Kiev, it's not in the west of Ukraine, but it's actually not like that. And right now I'm gonna explain why. First of all, the explosions you hear everywhere pretty much. For instance, living in Kiev, on the left side of the city, we heard like terrible sounds of explosions. It felt like it's like 100 meters away from you, and sometimes it actually was. Shelter.
There's full of insects. Scary.
You have this uncertainty, you have these thoughts, you have these questions all the time. Should I go to the shelter or should I just hide in a bathroom? And it's very hard to live in that reality. Usually on the other day you woke up and the first thing you do, you read the news. What was this terrible bombing sounds out of your window, and every morning you read about some family who died that night, and yeah, it's almost unbearable for your nervous system. But you have to wake up, get your breakfast, get your coffee and go to work because you have to survive in this reality. And I know that some of my videos, I made 20 plus videos about Ukraine during my time when I was living there, and I hope you appreciate my work. And recently I did the long videos with a summary of all my experience separately, so you can easily watch it like with full experience and my thoughts and with full understanding. And yeah, some of my videos looks like life is normal, that nothing is happening, and sometimes, yeah, like for a week or even 2, nothing is happening in your city or where you live, but something is happening on the other side of Ukraine, and something can happen to you any moment. And it was what I experienced in Lviv. You can check this video out. I just arrived and it was a huge missile attack on the city center of one of the most beautiful places in the west of Ukraine. Super historical city, super European city, and it's just crazy for understanding, like the whole family died during this missile attack. But what they did, they just cleaned up the streets, and the next morning they passed through this broken house on their way to work, to coffee shop, to anything, to school, if it's a kids, because what else can we do in this situation? Of course, like the people who are involved somehow in this situation, who are in touch with the people who were injured, it's the life-changing moment of their life, but Ukrainians adapt to this situation like every people would do. It's not like Ukrainians, like people are used to adapt to the situation. That's very, again, I will probably repeat it many times, that it's very hard to get used to this reality. You can and you should, because it's the only way to survive, first of all, mentally. So yeah, it's the first thing why I cannot come back to Ukraine right now, even though I miss it with all my heart. Like, I spent months abroad so far, and I miss every single detail, every small little beautiful things. But explosions is one of the biggest reasons. And when I was about to leave, there were a huge missile attacks on Poltava. Almost like 50 people, civilians, died during this attack, and kids and mothers, and it's just so heartbreaking. Luckily, my family live in the safest part of Ukraine, in Chernivtsi, but even in Chernivtsi, in the very west, you feel that you are in danger. Next thing is, and one of the most important for me, is blackouts, because the winter is coming, and right now it's getting colder and colder, and if the electricity is not working, not operating, there is no warm system working at home. So the houses, you probably know that winters in Ukraine and in Eastern Europe is very freezy, it's very hard, cold, like super, like snow, and during the blackouts it will be even harder. Like, you have to go to the 24th floor, there is no shower, no water, you cannot cook food. It's one thing that I can bear, that I can handle, but winter is another thing. I remember I was on a call with my mom last year during blackouts in winter, and I was literally crying, and we bought the generator then, so they can heat up the house, and likely I don't have to worry about my family right now because they are all set up. But in my apartment I have no generator in Kiev, so if the blackouts would be going still, I'll be freezing on the 24th floor with no water. And yeah, guys, you can imagine like how it is. And yeah, this video this video is hard. This video is hard. I didn't expect it. Because I love Ukraine, and I think that I showed you the most beautiful parts of Ukraine, and I showed you the beauty and the joy and the people who have courage, people who have strength to continue their life, and we were trying to continue our life in Ukraine, and it was a really pleasant time for me, but sometimes was a moment that you cannot ignore. So right now we're talking about that mostly. And one more thing is why right now I'm not in Ukraine is economical collapse. Yeah, when war started, my industry died. My industry was completely off. I'm working in show business, I'm a professional dancer, and I always was, I always wanted to be. So when war started, everything just stopped. Just nothing, no work at all. And it was the reason why I worked abroad for 3 years. And it is also the reason why right now I'm working on my channel, because I see in it potential to have a stable income at some point. Right now it's barely covering my daily expenses, but I believe in you, I believe in me, I believe in us. And again, I'm very, very grateful for all your support, every like, every comment, every watch of this video is super important for me, and it means a lot that I'm on the right path. So thank you guys again. So yeah, due to all these things right now, I decided to leave Ukraine. But of course, I'll be back, because I love Ukraine with all my heart. My family lives there, and I actually see the future in Ukraine for myself, even in my very tricky field, mostly because of the people. People in Ukraine have hope, and I also have. So in a month or two, I'll be back for showing you Ukraine. So after I left Ukraine, I made a whole video about it. You can check it on my channel. I moved to Germany. And it was actually a nice time. I spent like 2 weeks in Germany, but I felt, how to say it, very not like I'm at home. It's a super nice place, good for living, but it has some issues for me. Only personally for me, it was a bit difficult for me to adapt in like Germany society. It's very different from Ukrainian mentality. So I went with Danny to the Central Asia. For now, I'm helping him with his content. Of course, I'm creating content for myself, but last week was super hard for me mentally. I was making these videos about Ukraine with all these memories, sweet memories, and I missed my home, and I didn't know if I even wanna continue to do the YouTube, to work on it, to do videos about the places I am in right now. And I had all of these questions inside my mind, but I decided to not give up and give it a try and give it a chance. And I wanna do this right now. I wanna create videos about the world, about different world, because right now I'm like impressed by everything that surrounds me, because it's very different from Ukraine. I've never been to Central Asia. Everything is new for me, the food, the culture, the people, the language, everything. And I wanna show you my opinion, I wanna show you my perspective, I wanna show you the world. And for now, it's my goal to create very decent content, even though sometimes it's hard for me mentally. But with your support, I can do it. We can do it. So, Lisa Chayka, let's go. Hashtag Lisa Chayka, let's go. Write it in the comments if you want to see my new videos. I was working on them. And yeah, as I said, I see my future mostly in Ukraine, but also I wanna explore the world, to grow as a personality, to grow as a YouTuber, as a travel vlogger. But yeah, of course, I will come back. And recently I had a very interesting project in Ukraine. It was my last project. It was a dance project, dance music video. And even though the work possibilities are super low, and it's a very high competitive field, high competitive niche that I'm working in, I've got this job. And I'm very glad for it. It's a music video for very cute, very amazing musicians, Ukrainian boys band Latex Fauna. The song is named Lucerna, and it was a very difficult shooting because it was like 30 hours. We were super tired, hungry. It was a missile attack this day. I will show you a little bit of behind the scenes here, and you can check this work on YouTube or on my Patreon. I shared a lot about this project, so it was like a last beautiful chapter of my time in Ukraine, and I'm really glad that I did it because it's such a memories. These beautiful Ukrainian girls, this music, everything was so matching. And so, talking about the future, the next couple of videos would be super interesting and super unique place, so follow me here to not miss it. And if you are interested in my dance work and me, in my content, you can also subscribe on my Instagram, because the dance stuff I post mostly there, and also to see where I am right now. And if you liked my previous videos, if you appreciate my work, if you wanna support Lisa Chaika, support me here, hashtag Lisa Chaika, let's go. You can easily do it with my Patreon that I recently set up. It's an app, it's a platform where I post mostly behind the scenes, some live updates, some personal stuff, and you can easily like subscribe and by small donation become a part of my growth, of my path, of my YouTube journey. And also you can do it with a PayPal. All the links I will leave in the description. Oh, and I want to show you something. That's a persimmon. It's a fruit, like a national fruit, like a local fruit from the country where I am right now. The people on my Patreon already know where I am. Yeah, I wanted to tell you that my previous Patreon that I was promoting in a video while I'm leaving Ukraine was by terrible mistake deleted, so I set up the new one. So don't make mistake and don't go to the wrong link. Here I will leave a right link, and here you will see how my Patreon looks, so not miscorrected with another one. And let's summarize it. Ukraine is a beautiful country in a very difficult situation, and I wish you would come one day and see it with your own eyes. All the unique, authentic places, try all the amazing dishes, see all these sceneries, all these views, all this amazing architecture, and see how amazing this country is from the inside. But right now it's, of course, a dangerous area, very unfortunately. But I'm not afraid, and as I said before many times, I will come back. And we all, probably all of Ukrainians right now, we are waiting for US elections a lot, because it gives hope the situation will change. You just don't know in what way. It can be the worst or it can be much better. But we are waiting, because the elections means changes. And we all waiting for the changes, because living in this uncertainty is almost unbearable, especially for the people like me. I'm a very anxious person, like I was born like that. It's just a part of my personality, and with all these anxieties, with OCDs, it's very hard to live and don't know what's gonna happen next, and if there is any tomorrow. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for being with me this, I hope, 20 minutes. I don't know, it seems like I'm talking like for an hour, but I'm sure it's less. And see you in my next videos. Yeah, I hope so. I'm really working on it. Mwah. Oh, this curly hair. I will grow it. I will grow it. Grow it like this. Right now it's cute, but I prefer long hair. It took me 3 months to realize that I prefer long hair.